Hello again. Today is another day. Today's video I'm going to talk about change, right? Change in a lot of ways. There's a concept called the journey of the hero, which is a pretty cool concept that helps us to find who we are, know who we are. And that leads to a lot of confidence again. But today, my cousin from Rio, which is a gigantic city here in Brazil, came to my city, which is a tiny city in Brazil, and she brought her daughter, which is like 16, I think, and I looked in her eyes, and she was kind of sad. She was sad because she had to start everything all over again, and just because her mom was responsible with her choices, and it changed her life in a certain way. The point is, change, never physical, is gonna, how can I say this? If everywhere you go smells like shit, maybe you shit your pants. I think that's a good definition of what I'm trying to say. Is that we need to first change here, then to change outside. We can try to change our outsides, but if our inside's still unhealthy, things are not going to work out, And, well, change, sometimes it means changing little things, but change also means starting everything all over again, just like with with the daughter of my cousin. It's just pretty harsh, but yet it's gonna lead to a lot of new lessons and a lot of new experiences around. So I do believe that's beneficial to a certain point, but that's also detrimental, because once we know who we are, we know what we want, and knowing what we want, we will take actions, and those actions will have respect to ourselves. So there's a point here where the line crosses. So, for example, she's a minor, like she's 16 years old, but her mom is like almost 40. Sorry, I'm eating my ear. That seems not to be fair, because she's in this window of, hey, I'm conscious, hey, I have dreams, I have goals, but she's still in this, hey, I'm dependent on this woman, and she controls basically everything. But if this person you're dependent on is making bad decisions, what happens to you, And that just led me to, a bit sad. But the journey of the hero says, change things, change the way you talk to people, change your behaviors. For example, if you eat with your right hand, start eating using the fork on your left hand. You're gonna lock in. If you brush your teeth with your right hand, try to do it with the left hand. That's tiny changes that will help you understand a bit more of yourself. And change does not mean resetting always, but it also means improving on things that are not quite yet there. And another topic I wanted to talk about is death itself. Well, when I was 15, I saw my mother. She had been fighting against cancer for 6 years, and I saw her die in front of me, and in the hospital bed. It was a very cinematic moment, to be fair, but that led me to become a bit a bit less uh, apathic. I think, I don't know how to say that, because some before that I didn't really care about anything or anyone. But once I lost that experience, I said, hey, people are not infinite, you know? People die. And those who I love the most will die as well. And, well, that led me to discover a lot of things and help lots of people. Even though it really hurt me, it has a greater purpose. I'm not saying like my mom dying was for this specific reason, but she dying in front of me was a clicking point for me, you know. And yesterday, my girlfriend works as a nurse. She's doing nursery, studying, and she's in her last internship and this internship is at a hospital, like the worst hospital in the city, like the most active one. And yesterday was her first day in there. And, well, first day internship, you're learning. She thought, oh, it's gonna be a normal day, right? And they're gonna present us the whole thing, how it works. But no, the first day, a guy showed up having a heart attack, and they did CPR. In Portuguese, we call it RCP. And like the whole team did it, and the guy died. The internship was 3 hours long. It was the first day of the internship, and a guy died in front of them. In health and in hospitals, that happens all the time, you know. But it's harsh. It's hard. And, well, going through death, death hits us kind of depending on the circumstances in a different way for each person. For example, my mom, I couldn't really do nothing. I could only watch. On nursery, they did all they could, but the guy still died. You know, it's not their fault. But yet that feels a bit different, you know. And also the fact that I loved my mom. She didn't know that guy. Man, today she is kind of introspective, feeling kind of all over the place. She's at work right now. I'm in my work break, so that's great. In 3 days I'm going back to work, so the videos might get delayed a little bit more. But yeah, that was the video today. Death is part of our lives, and we shouldn't treat it as this thing that we shouldn't talk about. We should treat it as something that will happen, whether we like it or not. We should learn how to deal with it. But people don't die when they lose their lives. They die when they are forgotten. I think that's the case. Well, in the next day I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more. But that was it for today. I'm gonna post this video. Hope you're doing well. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. God bless. Bye bye.